Good morning, everyone. We're cutting into programming right now as the Ohio County Emergency Management Agency is holding a press conference to address the widespread flooding that sweeps through parts of the county overnight. Let's head over to our 7 News crew who is there right now.
Everybody good? Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to talk about last night's stunning events that unfolded in the city and in the outer parts of Ohio County in the towns of Triadelphia and Valley Grove. Emergency Management Director Lou Vargo is here. He's going to talk about overall what happened last night, where we are with search and rescue operations and getting people the help that they need. And then Wheeling Fire Chief Jim Blazier will go on to talk about some of the search and rescue efforts and recovery efforts as well that are going on along our waterways. So I'll turn it over to Lou Vargo.
Thanks, Phil. As you know, last night around 8 o'clock p.m., we had a storm pass through the city of Wheeling and Ohio County. According to the National Weather Service, we received between 2.5 and 4 inches of rain within about a 30-minute period. We almost immediately started getting 911 calls for rescue, people being trapped in there. All volunteer fire departments were alerted. The Wheeling Fire Department was alerted. I asked for a request from Chief Blazier for the swift water team because we have vehicles in the creeks and people were stranded. He eventually went to a second alarm where he brought in his second crew because there were so many calls going on at the same time. During this time, we had major infrastructure damage to roads, bridges, and highways where we couldn't respond to a lot of incidents, so we were delayed in getting there because there was just so much damage. Unfortunately, during the rescues last night, we have confirmed there has been 3 fatalities, and we do have reports of missing persons. At that time last night, at Emergency Operations Center here in Wheeling was activated. A state of emergency was declared for the city by City Manager Robert Herron, and Zach Abraham, our Commission President, declared a state of emergency for the entire county. We've also passed that on to the state, and Governor Morrissey has just recently signed a state of emergency for Ohio County, which opens up the possibility of all state resources, including the National Guard. The Department of Highways has asked for Guard assistance because of such extensive damage. As the Department of Highways has done their damage assessment, we have road closures. Route 40 from Elm Grove on, from Peters Run all the way out to Valley Grove are closed. Short Creek, Peters Run, Warden's Run, Battle Run, GC&P Road, Middle Creek, Junior Avenue, Dixon's, and McGraw's. Not only is there debris on the roads, some of those roads have washed away. It's just very dangerous. So we're pleading for everybody to please stay away. This is an active disaster area. The roads are damaged. It's unsafe for you to be there. It's unsafe for you to have traffic out there with our first responders doing that. So we just plead for you to stay away from that area and let the first responders and Department of Highways and all the services out there do our job so we can get the citizens back into their homes as quickly as possible. During last night, we did, the Department of Education, Mr. Dunleavy opened up Elm Grove Elementary for a mass care shelter, and we had 12 people there throughout the night, and there are still people there as we speak. Also, American Electric Power reports around 4,000 people without electricity. Everybody's calling, want to know the restoration time for that. You have to understand there's been a lot of natural gas leaks. The electric company is not going to turn on that power until we could get all those gas leaks. Some of those houses may be an explosive situation, but in turning on that power could cause an explosion. So the power company and the gas company are working very closely together to coordinate everything. So and once we make sure that those houses are without any type of explosive levels of natural gas, then the power company will start restoring it. But we do have crews coming in. Department of Highways has crews coming in from other counties and other districts to help. But back to what we're doing today is now that we're searching there. I'm going to turn this over to Chief Blazier. We've established a command post up at Reesbeck's and Elm Grove, and that's where he's coordinating all operations in the recovery and the search for the missing people.
Thank you, Lou. As Lou stated last evening around 8 p.m., it was a very rapidly changing environment within the county and the city. We deployed our resources and we were quickly overwhelmed. We had to go to a second alarm, which brought more personnel in to assist. Some very dangerous conditions out there for some of the rescues we had to make last evening. Then, of course, it got dark, so we performed these rescue operations till into the wee hours of the morning, to where we had things stabilized and had most things searched, at least initially. This morning, we regrouped. We organized search teams that are searching from the state line to the mouth of the Ohio or Wheeling Creek at the Ohio River. We're searching the banks. We're searching submerged vehicles, any debris we find along the trail, and so forth. We're using drones, search dogs, and swiftwater personnel, and we have teams organized that are searching sectors that we're trying to recover anybody that's missing. And conditions have improved a little bit on the creek, so it's not quite as dangerous today as it was yesterday. As Lou stated, we would please recommend that if you are sightseeing, to please do not do that. You're impeding the rescue efforts or the recovery efforts, and also you're impeding the efforts of the infrastructure replacement, like AEP, natural gas employees, DOH, things like that, that are trying to get these roads opened up and back to some sort of normalcy. So if you could please avoid, there are people that are trying to enter these areas to recover belongings, whatever they can. So we would reserve entry into these areas to those folks. That's all I have.
I also want to mention, if you have any family members that you cannot get a hold of or you're concerned about them, call the Emergency Operations Center. It's 304-234-3756, and we will add those people to our list of missing persons and make every attempt to find them. Also, we have a lot of calls about people who like to donate things. Again, call the Emergency Operations Center at 304-234-3756, and we'll keep a list of that. We have requested a lot of flood cleanup kits from the state. Those should be arriving tomorrow, and we'll be getting those out to all the people. We'll set up a point of distribution at the command post where Chief Blazier is at the Elm Grove Breezebecks, and we'll have it. Is there any questions that either of us can take?
Can you repeat that phone number again? I'm not sure I have that.
The emergency operations number is 304-234-3756. And the EOC will remain staffed throughout the event. We'll downsize as needed, but until we get everybody found and get the city and the county back to some source of normalcy, we'll still be working out of the EOC.
How long have people been working now who've been out there rescuing? Have they had any breaks at all since last night?
You really want to know? Yeah. Maybe an hour. We went home, took a shower, changed, and that's been about it. But yeah, we're not going to rest until we do. Yeah, we've always had all our volunteer fire departments. I mentioned we went to all hands almost immediately, and they've still been working. They're helping all the residents with any type of recovery. We have some heavy equipment coming in because there's just so much debris. The National Weather Service says there's a possibility of another between 1/4 to 1.25 inches rain coming. So one of the priorities of highways is there's so much debris in these bridges that they're impeding the flow of water. So one of the goals for the Department of Highways is to get those bridges cleared out. So if we do have any additional rain, that it's not going to be obstructed by the debris. So that's been their priority. We talked to North Fork Landfill. They've opened up for us, and they'll be open for duration. So we get that debris and get it up to the landfill, get it out of there, so we could get everything moved back.
There were reports of people being rescued from trees. Did that happen in any instances?
I said almost immediately from when just being at home, when the rain started, we started getting 911 calls. I mean, it happened so quickly and so fast. I went out to the Dallas Pike Road, and you could just see the water was just. I've been doing this for 35 years. I've seen major floods here in the city and the county. I've never seen anything like this, the way it occurred. But also talking, Chief Blazer was saying he just had a sprinkle at his home. If you talk to people in Belmont County, Marshall County, they really didn't have anything. This cell formed and it just stopped over Wheeling in Ohio County. It's Mother Nature. You can't predict it. And they do everything. We knew there was a chance of a flash flood, but everything looked good. But you could just see it coming and it hit.
Were there any traumatic rescues that you can tell us about?
Any dramatic rescues?
Yes.
Oh,
Whenever you're rescuing somebody in swift water, they're all dramatic.
dramatic, yeah.
So,
Yeah, there was people in trees, there was people hanging from, and like I said, we had a trailer on fire that the road on both sides of that was given out. We couldn't really get a response to it until some of that fire, water receded, because the roads were out, so.
Did that house turn out to be a total loss?
I believe so. I was out in the Triadelphia area, but again, we not only do we have that fire, we've had gas leaks, we had additional ones again today. So again, it's just another reason why it is an active disaster area. And just as Chief Blazer and I we're pleading, sightseers is just, it's a danger to yourself to go, because you could be on those roads and the road could give out just by passing. So just please stay away from that area.
Do you have a total of how many people are still missing, or a rough estimate?
It's changing. We have 4 or 5 on the list, but we just got another call. Some of these people may be missing, or just their cell phones are gone, or things like that. So we haven't confirmed that for sure, but we're going to look at that. There's a lot of cars that have been missing. Some of those are things. So through law enforcement, the Wheeling Police Department and the Sheriff's Department will be tracking those cars to see if there's anybody in there.
And then you said there's a possibility of the National Guard coming in. What are the odds of that, and how soon as they do come would they be down to help?
Like I said, Department of Highways is going up through their chain of command. They've done a more thorough assessment. One of the things we'll be doing now, as the Department of Highways did, is assessing how much damage and what equipment is necessary. We'll also be doing that for the individuals, all the citizens of Wheeling and Ohio County that had damage to their homes. We know that there has been a couple houses have been destroyed. There's also one. So that's one of the priorities we'll be doing now, is damage assessment.
Being traffic rerouted in those areas, I imagine, where there's obviously a lot of flooding and damage still.
All those areas, basically from Peters Run to Valley Grove, they're restricted. So we're just staying out, 88, there's just damage all over the place. But Highways is going to make every attempt to at least get one lane opened on some of these roads. But right now, there's just, once the water receded, there was probably 5 or 6 inches of mud and gunk just on all those roads. So it's going to take a lot to get all that cleaned up.
Are there any other questions anybody has?
another thing I'd like to add is the appreciation of first responders from the tri-state area. We've had an outpouring of support and offering of personnel that's come to the scene. Those are how we've been able to organize so many search teams today, was the first responders that have reached out to us and sent equipment and help in our time of need.
Yeah, we've been getting calls from throughout the state, Morgantown, Marion County. We do have a couple of drones from Marion County are here. Belmont, Brook, Marshall, everybody here. It was, like I said, of all the 55 counties, for whatever reason, Mother Nature just picked Ohio County this time, and we're the only ones that really have that damage. But as I always say, emergency management, we just got a great team. It's just not restricted to our, we got the best first responders here in Ohio County, but just emergency management is just quite of a team effort. Everybody's helping each other. Philip, anything else you want?
If we wanted to go get photos, where would be some places that would be both safe and important enough for us to go to?
Like
I
I
would
said,
probably restrict photos at this time because we do not know where there may be victims present and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's a sensitive situation out there right now. Plus, you have people that have lost everything.
Yeah.
So
I think probably the
I
best-
think we should respect their privacy at this point.
If you want to do a Reesbex, it's just get a picture of the command vehicles and the teams we have out there. That's where most of the activities occurring. But Chief Blazer said just the damage and the people's property, and it's devastating out there.
Now, you said that a shelter was opened at the elementary school last night. How long is that going to remain open?
Well, right now there's only about 10 people. We're working with the American Red Cross, and maybe we get them more long-term housing, like in the hotels or things like that. You know, we open up these shelters, but you know, people are sleeping on army cots and things like that. It's not, you know, they've been devastated with their houses, and it's not the ideal thing. But so we're going to try to get them out into some more suitable shelter than just a school. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And of course, that was live coverage of the Ohio County Emergency Management Agency's news conference on the devastating flooding. Again, that number 304-234-3756 for the Operations Center. Our hearts go out to everyone. You are all in our thoughts and prayers. We'll continue to keep you updated on 7 News tonight and on our website, WTRF.com.